Good afternoon, March 9th, Friday. Beautiful sunny day, and like others have said, I think winter is releasing its grasp. We had 11 degrees last night, but now next week or more is forecast to be pretty warm. So I'm out here at one of my pastures. We're going to do a winter fence walk, and I also just got my chainsaw.
Phone call that interrupted me, but anyways, I just got the parts and put a new handbrake on this. There's part of the old spring broke. The spring broke and this wouldn't reset like that. It would just stay forward. So anyways, I'm gonna go cut some bur oak fence post out back here. Bur oak's just a type of white oak. So remember, your white oaks, you can dry them and use those as fence post. If you're cutting red oaks, you got to treat them, soak them in diesel or something for a few months. So we'll do a winter pasture walk, check out the fence. So winter's a good time to check on fence. So I'll nail a lot of, save money on posts, because posts are usually your most expensive thing when putting a fence up. I use these insulators nailed against trees. I nail them in loose so that insulator can push out as the tree pushes against it. It gives you a couple more years on the insulator, because what happens is the trees will grow and push against that insulator and eventually crack it. You can see right here, same deal here. So, yeah. When I'm putting up a pasture fence, I put it up lightning fast. I try to get these fiberglass sucker rods, and they're non-conductive. Just get these clips that hold the wire. You can put up a fence fast. This is a 20-acre pasture. I think I fenced this in about 2 or 3 days. Yeah, you can see here, this come off the post. So, I don't know, maybe a deer hit it or something. I didn't really have it on there real tight, kind of on purpose. These posts aren't real strong. That's why I think I'm gonna sink some wood post in here in some of these long runs. And I put a post where I need to. I stretch the fence first, then I put post up. So the high tensile wire, nothing is given that I put it like every 20 feet or 50 feet. Wherever the fence starts sagging, I put a post, because it's high tensile wire. It's just a suspension fence. It's really being held between the two corners. Line post just got to hold the wire up. So this BS was done by deer hunters, I can guarantee you that. I do let some friends deer hunt out here, but they didn't need to do this. They're convinced that the deer don't come in here unless you take the fence down. So this type of crap pisses me off. That's how it's supposed to work. I mean, not a big deal, but it's like, come back out after deer season and put the fence back up for me. So I took cattle out of here about the 1st of November. Or no, I guess it was in October. There was no grazing this year. I tell you what, we did not have a good grazing season. I started feeding hay pretty early. I'm really surprised after that windstorm we got a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, that there just isn't a whole bunch of trees on top of the fence, because this basically is going through. This is all a flooded area. It's iced over now, but the back part of this is a stand of silver maple. Some guys do tap silver maple as well, along with the sugar maple for sap. A whole stand of this, pretty brittle wood though, and yeah, there's a lot of branches that do fall, but that's why during the summer you do have to walk back here, make sure the fence isn't flattened by a tree falling. Here's a corner. I hauled very few posts into this spot, but I had to haul this about a quarter mile back and put in a corner right at the property line. But you can see most of the time I use trees wherever I could. This is a good time of year to get back here. See, here's another deal. This is, a human did this. I doubt it was a trespasser. You know what? I really don't care if other neighbors are out here hunting. I could care less. I let them all know, hey, if you see a deer on my side of the fence, go ahead and shoot it. But it's a good time to get out here when it's wet. Because, we're about 2 months away from bringing cattle out here. But this would be, good time to get out of here when it's frozen. Because this will be a foot and a half of water I'm walking on right now. See, you can see how I do those insulators like that. Yeah, that probably could have been in. I'll bring a hammer back out here. That insulator could be pounded in. I'll even do crazy stuff like this. This is a spot, I absolutely need to lift it up. This log was in the way. So a lot of, you know, deadfall here. So I just did a screw-in insulator there, leg screw insulator. And because the cows will be calving in this pasture, so I guess you gotta be a little bit more particular about your bottom wire height, is when you're gonna have calves. Although this is underwater till probably July, so I doubt too many of the calves come back here to lay little stuff like this. You know, just deadfall, not a big deal. Easy to fix. Okay, so here's a spot the fence just flattened right out. So, put some better post up here, I think, to fix this situation here. Could be a deer ran into it full speed, I don't know. I think what somebody did, I think they pulled these posts right out of the ground is what they did. So I don't think those branches that were on top of the fence sure as the hell do not match what is overhead. So I'm leaving this fence on year round from now on. The deer hunter convinced me he wanted to turn it off, and has zero effect on deer. But you can't tell deer hunters a damn thing. I can tell you that right now. Another corner I had to carry back in here. Cutoff switches are important. That way you can isolate certain spots of the fence without having to walk all the way to the fence charger. Turn it off, and it also helps you troubleshoot where you got a short. Okay. Didn't want a tree stand. I said no tree stands near the edge of the property by the neighbor, who also deer hunts. Give the guy some room, but what do? We got a tree stand next to the neighbor's house. So here's a stash of these bur oak fence posts. Just lean them up against stumps, lean them up against trees, let them cure. That way in the upcoming years they're available to use. Okay, let's check the fence charging system. See if it was ready for spring. So the fence charger is still working. This is a Cyclops made by Taylor Fencing. I think this is an 8 joule charger here. Okay, everything looks good here. Charge controller. This is a 12 volt timer because I do run a water pump off of this. If you watch my video about digging a shell livestock water well, this is the spot. Otherwise, you don't need this 300 watt panel here to run this. You look, see if the wires aren't broke. You know, mice chewing them and stuff like that. And you know, there's a cutout switch here too. So you come here and you just turn the whole fence off. It's off right now. And you buy a fence charger, don't go to your regular farm store and buy, you know, the piece of junk ones. Get a good one. It's a good American made Cyclops made down in Alabama by Taylor Fencing. I think the guy was a electronics engineer in the military or something and got out and started his own fence company. They're probably the best fence, heaviest duty fence chargers you could get. They got good lightning protection, stuff like that. And that's the thing, the farm store fence chargers, they are really expensive to fix. These things are made to fix if you get a power surge. So that's important. So I stay away from the cheap farm store chargers. Go to a guy who really deals in electric fence. All right, I'm gonna carry a couple of those oak fence posts back to the corner so I can walk across the swamp here while everything's frozen. And that one back corner where those poles were pulled right out of the ground, that definitely needs to be fixed. Put some heavier post. Other than that, I'm real happy with how the fence held up over the winter. You know, simple fence. There's some spots I want to put some heavier post in, you know, just so the fence doesn't flatten. You're in the woods there, you got to really be careful. You do got to check it. After every windstorm when you got cattle here, you better walk fence line. Becomes kind of a challenge during hay season to get out here sometimes, but you know, sometimes I'm not out here for a week or more. But all right, good luck fencing, guys. Spring's right around the corner.